you guys don't lock the doors, so you're cool. Do you tell your kids like with a channel you do lock? So ours, we could have been caught God knows how many times because they'll come knock, they'll try to open the door because they lock it. Then they'll knock. What are y'all doing? Man, we take a lot of showers. Take a lot of showers. You know, took a shower today. You know, it's your mama in the shower. I'm about to get in the shower too. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Ferg, Three Brothers No Sense. I'm joined by my co-hosts Razi and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your mind.
Hey man, have y'all seen Peacemaker?
No.
Do you know what Peacemaker is?
Yeah.
No.
John Cena is Peacemaker in Suicide Squad 2 or whatever.
Yeah. He has his own
show. He has his own spinoff show now. And it's basically Invincible, the cool animated show I told you about, where they take a like dark turn on superheroes. It's basically a live action Invincible. And so it's actually pretty good. So if you haven't watched it, I'd throw it out there. If you like The Boys, any of those types of shows, it's generally that. So not a bad thing, but I'm really, really excited. Cobra Kai season 4 dropped. And it's good. It's good. It's super dope, but it's a little too much teen drama in it. It's very high schooly, but I guess that's what they were going for. So can't be mad at it.
Who are you rocking with? What JoJo do you represent?
Man, it's so hard. I really think I'm a Eagle fan. I'm an Eagle fan, man. They're badass.
Put it this way, Miyagi-Do's at the bottom. They're a bunch of losers. They need to get their lives together. The LaRusso family.
Eagle Fang has like no good fighters.
Yeah, but they're still
like 1 or 2, and they just hanging their hat on them.
Their heart. Man, Miyagi though, Mr. Miyagi is turning over in his grave, man. The LaRusso family is trash.
They are.
I said it. You heard it here first. Daniel's son is conceited. His daughter has a horrible attitude and needs to get readjusted.
He likes one of his kids more than the other one.
Yeah, his other son is trash. And the wife is the coolest person.
Yeah,
and she has issues. So Eagle Fang, Cobra Kai, they just do what they're doing. I don't have a problem with Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Actually, if it wasn't for. Actually, they by the end of the season, I'm good.
Oh, you've already finished it? Dang.
Yeah, the episode's only 30 minutes apiece, so you can binge it in 6 hours, 4 or 5 hours, or whatever.
Couple of days, Byron. Couple of days.
So it's not that bad. So yes, go out, check it out. It's awesome.
What else you got? That's it.
That's it, man. That's all Cobra I got. Kai.
What about you, Buff? I know how are you feeling, bro?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. Did a little something with the Huffington Post that we posted on our page last week. So that's out there if you guys want to check that out on January 6th.
Is that the show on HBO?
No. For some reason, I thought I told y'all about that. Yeah, that aired, what month is it? That aired back in November, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it. So,
but I didn't know it aired.
I don't know if we ever talked about it on the show though.
No, I got a quick 10 seconds. There's a HBO documentary called 4 Hours at the Capitol, and the producers and everything that came to my house stayed for about an hour. We chopped it up, and I guess the other 50 minutes and 50 seconds went on the cutting room floor. So smooth 10 seconds in there. But, I've gotten great feedback from it. I mean, people that see me, that know me at work or don't know me at work, they're like, you in that documentary. So you can check that out if you have HBO Max. It's on there now.
Yeah. And the documentary is dope anyway, though. Yeah. It's a really good look at what really happened because when I was looking at it, I watched a lot of the coverage because really I was worried about you and everything. But on top of that, man, like there's so much more that happened that you don't know unless you watch that documentary, because nobody really kind of talks about it other than this documentary from what I've seen.
Yeah, I just remember, because they showed some of the images that they showed, people were like, why didn't they fight back? And then you watch that documentary, man, my coworkers was getting it in. They was getting it in out there, man. So, check that out, man. 4 hours at the Capitol. I don't know what's on my mind, man, right now. I haven't checked out Cobra Kai yet because during season 3, it just started feeling a little corny to me. So I'm not that excited on watching season 4 yet, but I'll probably get around to checking it out. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't have anything. What's up?
What you been watching then? What have you been watching since you aren't watching Cobra Kai?
Hey man, life is bigger than TV.
Yeah. You know what? It is. I wanted to, real quick, before I pass it to Ferg, I just want to give out a sarcastic shout out to VDOT, and that's the Virginia Department of Transportation. We had a snowstorm that pretty much inconvenienced the hell out of my life, as we had a very, very large evergreen tree that split in 3. One part of it fell and is being held up by another tree as we speak. Another part broke my fence, my neighbor's fence, and his neighbor's fence. So all 3 of us were affected by that. And the other one,
that sounds like a big tree.
Very big tree. So I'm in the process of getting that cut down and removed. And then I got to find someone to repair the fence on top of that. But I was not one of the people that was stuck in traffic for 20 plus hours on I-95. I can't imagine what that's like. That did prompt me to, I've always preached to Tabitha about having an emergency kit in her car, because after what happened in Atlanta, when people were stuck, they were saying how you should keep stuff in your car. So I've been preaching that to her, but I don't have it in my car. I don't have anything in my car. So, I'm making it a point to put a blanket in there, a shovel, keep some waters and food in there, because I literally could have been in that. Like, I was this close. Like, I remember seeing that traffic on the way home and thinking it was just regular rush hour snow traffic. So I was like, let me get off on this exit. And at the time, I thought that was a bad idea because the back roads that I took were not plowed. So I was like, dang, I might have made a mistake. I should have stayed on 95. It wasn't until I got to work the next morning, as I passed by the southbound traffic going northbound, I was like, damn, that's a lot of traffic over there. That was the same traffic I bailed on the previous night. So I could have been stuck in that, man, if I had stayed and allowed other cars to pile up behind me, man. So that was just kind of like, I don't know, eye-opening for me. So I'm making it a point to keep stuff in my car. And I give a sarcastic shout out to VDOT, because that morning I told them, I was like, yo, the roads don't look that plowed. Did you guys oversleep or something? And they put out a tweet. I think people that follow me on social media thought that VDOT was responding to me directly. They didn't respond to me directly. They just put out a tweet responding to tweets like mine, and kind of like being a Ferg. A smart ass about it.
Wow, that's how we do now.
It's slipped.
That's what we're doing now.
One thing, what I'm saying? But no,
yeah, but either way, either you say or you think it. That's where we're at now. Wow.
But yeah, they put out there, it was like, just a reminder, you guys, we know it hasn't snowed in a hot minute. We don't put salt on dry roads, and just all this nonsense. That was a lie. It was a complete lie. And they wound up having a debacle that made national news. So when it snowed again 4 days later, guess what they was doing? They was pre-treating the roads. That's what they was doing. So that's what I've been dealing with. I've been dealing with snow, man. Punk, snow. Sorry, Razi.
You are definitely a northerner now.
Yeah.
Because you've gotten used to snow. Alabama, it shuts down after like a flurry.
As it should. Because the same way VDOT didn't do what they were supposed to do, we don't have especially in Texas and Houston, we don't have the capacity to do that stuff. So it's not that it's just, we don't know how to drive in snow and stuff like that. It's there's no VDOT. There's no people treating the roads. You know, when we had the winter storm last year, it was like, oh, that y'all are tripping. It's not that cold. Like, it's not that it was so cold. It was so much snow. It's the fact that all the power went out in the state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that doesn't happen where the whole state is, you know, in and out of power, and they're, you know, couldn't go to hotels, couldn't go to, you know, couldn't drive. The roads weren't treated. Can't get gas. You know, it was bad. So the reason I say this is because I ended up buying a generator. Generators are not cheap.
No, they are not.
Yeah, so that was a Christmas gift to myself, I guess. By humbug. How do you feel about the trial, though, Buff? How do you feel about, but not the trial itself, the sentencing?
Oh, with the Ahmaud Arbery murderers. Here's the thing, man. They got it right. First, let me say that first and foremost. They got it right. But a part of me just shakes my head at them like, all y'all had to do was mind y'all business that day. Like, just think about that for a second. Whatever it was you were doing, you know, oiling your engine or changing your tire, playing with your kids,
ironing your sheets.
Whatever you were doing, you could have just kept doing that and you'd be free. Now, I know we got appeals and stuff, and they still got a shot at, you know, eventually getting off. But as of right now, the rest of your life is in prison for not minding your business and being racist.
But and bigger, there's somebody who lost her life, mother lost her son. Like, it's just because for whatever reason you felt that you had not even the right. It's almost like a duty.
Duty is the right word. That's exactly what they thought it was.
Because what always pisses me off when I think about this is they weren't doing their job. They weren't standing their ground. It was like, let's go get that nigga. Like, just chill. Like, you could have called the police. You could have did nothing. You could have not brought a gun. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So what we have? We have Snow. We have Cobra Kai. We had Ahmaud Arbery. What else happened this week? Oh, man. We haven't recorded since... No, we did. We lost Betty White, but then we lost Sidney Poitier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just lost Sidney.
Yeah, so... Yeah, man. 2022 starting off ain't playing.
Well, 2022 said don't put Betty White on them. That's 2021.
Okay.
2022 did take the Mack, though.
It was 2022.
They took the Mack.
Yeah.
They did take the Mack. Oh, yeah, man. Tripping. So, for me, I mean, it's been a cool week. The biggest thing, I think, for me was an eye-opening. I went to one of my fraternity brothers' funeral. Really didn't know him that well, but I knew his brother, who was also another frat brother of ours, but young man passed at 41 years old and of a heart attack. And the pastor did a pretty good job at his sermon. And one of the things he talked about just was eye-opening to me. And he talks about, and it was a unique approach to it because, you know, we're always talking about God makes no mistakes. You'll never understand. There's a deeper lesson. But he said, if you can take anything from this, life is fragile. Just that simple. Life is fragile. You're sitting here today and you can be gone tomorrow. And he actually brought up the capital. He said, so many things are fragile, so many things that we depend on and we think that are stable. He said it was about a year. He said it was almost a year ago to the date. This was Wednesday. He's like, our democracy was attacked. It shows you how fragile democracy is. So it's just life is stable. I mean, it's fragile. And just to make the best use of the time you have and to pay attention. So that was very eye-opening for me. So I think that's about it, man. What you want to say?
Since we've been talking a lot about shows, real quick before we get into the show, I think his name is Mike Hill. When Insecure ended, he posed a question on Twitter. They had a lot of people talking, you know, can we have name a black male show that's positive that lasted at least 4 seasons? And so in the responses, because we posted it on our page, people were suggesting shows, and I've checked out some of them. So I just want to pass that on to people. There's a show called The Crew. I think it airs on NBC. It's okay. It has a lot of little kind of corny moments, but it's okay. I'm gonna give it more chances. I've watched the first 2 episodes. I've started Harlem, which is on Amazon Prime. That's about 4 Black women, but I know we're supposed to be looking for Black male shows, but I just was looking for more Black shows in general. And Black is just restarted. That's not a new show, but check that out. And Southside on HBO Max. That's pretty good. It's funny. It's not corny. And so check those 3 shows out right there: Harlem, Southside, and The Crew.
And what is Southside about?
Southside is these 2 brothers in Chicago. They just graduated from college.
Oh, I heard it.
But it's community college. And so their dream jobs did not, respect that. So now they're back at their like rent-a-center job. And just, I don't want to give away too much, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. I've seen a couple episodes. But you know what? It's funny because when they were talking about that and they were naming shows like Martin and stuff, I'm very critical of that kind of stuff, is I want a show that is not over the top. Martin was a great show. It was caricatures of Black people.
It was a comedy, right? You want a drama. You want a Black drama.
Not even a drama. Like, I feel like, why can't we have a male living single? Like, it was comedic. Like, they had comedic moments. It wasn't they were trying to be funny. Like, we watched Martin, you can tell, like, they're saying who can be the funniest on this show. Like, they're pushing the limit. He created characters to be so funny rather than just having real life situations and having comedic moments, like a living single, like a girlfriend. Still, there was comedy in it, but it kind of gave you more of a realistic approach. It's more of a real feel to life. Like, Martin was if an alien was on Martin one day, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, they could have had an alien episode. I mean, they had ghosts, like it was that kind of stuff. There's not a lot. And even then, when we start talking about those shows, we're talking about the late 90s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can go, okay, let's take Martin. Take the Wayans brothers and all those shows and stuff like that, which is still the same thing I said with Martin. It's like, that was 20 years ago. And I think that was a time when we were proud, not we, but like, it seemed like there was this push to be Black, for Black excellence and stuff like that. That's when they were, the Afrocentric, all that stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know if we have any just good shows with some brothers like us that could just still be comedic. Because it doesn't have to be a melodrama.
Because we usually drug.
So This Is Us don't count? Because of Randall? Yeah. Randall don't count?
No, but if This Is Us was a Black show and it had some comedic episodes, like if there would have been a Black family, that would have been a good show. But there's not really one, even Insecure. Like, could you have a male Insecure?
I think that's kind of the lens that Southside is in right now. Because Issa didn't really make it into the final season on Insecure. Like, she was like a Lyft driver for one season. So it's not like she was just successful big-time corporate person.
I'm glad you mentioned, because I got to watch more episodes. I mean, it was funny. It was funny. But it's more of a comedy than Insecure is. Yeah,
Anyway, I wanted to drop that in there real quick, man.
Okay, Razi.
So
do you have a joke for us, sir?
What happens when Catwoman kisses Batman? The Dark Knight Rises. Huh?
Quite sophomore, but better than last week, Ferg. It was better than last week. Okay? It was better than last week, bro.
Yeah. Yes. With that being said, who wants to go first?
I'll go first because my question is it's not really sophomore though. It does deal with sex. So listen, we all have kids. We all been married, and we all have been faced with the situation of trying to get it in. While the kids are in the other room somewhere, or whatever like that. Have either of you had any of your kids catch mama with her ass in there? In other words, have any of your kids walked in on you doing the dirty?
Well, no. So we keep the doors locked. I can't attest to what they might have heard.
Is mama all right? Daddy!
You keep the TV on, radio on, all that stuff. So, this is not fair. I mean, they're up the whole damn day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to find time where you might not get caught. So, but I live on the wild side. I don't be locking the door. So,
this loser just picks up the dice. Let it ride.
Baby. Let's go.
And I just see the Razi guilty face.
Oh man. So they've never seen like up in the air like going at it, but
I don't know why I asked it like that.
but it was one time where like, we were going at it, but we knew the kids had just fell asleep or whatever. So we we're trying to be quiet and we were like under the covers. So the covers were on top of us. And so, I'm doing my due and all of a sudden, like the door's closed. And I swear I looked over, the door was closed. I turned back. And by the time I turned and looked at Jenica, Sophie was right next to the bed. Like, I don't know. I didn't hear her open the door. Nothing.
She pulled one of those pop-ups.
Like she materialized like out of nowhere, like poof.
Oh man.
So
what you doing?
Exactly. So,
what you doing?
So, it's the whole, we were just playing around, we were wrestling or whatever, but now, y'all both butt naked under the cover, like you can't really get from under the cover or whatever. So she ended up on my side. So Jen like slid out and like slid her clothes back on her side of the bed, and I was like talking to Sophie or whatever, trying to keep her engaged with me.
You're a great father.
So yeah, it was a wild night.
They would have had to get out.
I mean, it was one of those things that like you can't. She was younger, so it wasn't like you could just be like yell and tell her to get out. It's one that she had a bad dream or whatever, and so you had to kind of.
I'll be in your room in a second.
She had a bad dream, Ferg. She wasn't leaving to go back into the bad dream area.
I was gonna go. I'm coming there in a second, man. I got you.
So yeah, it was a wild night that night.
Well, that's why we lock doors.
Yeah, it's smart too.
Yeah,
but there's just something about the whole. Yeah. We might get caught.
Yeah, bro, it's different when it's your kids rather than a random park or something like that. Just lock the door, bro.
All right, whatever, man.
Razi.
So Buff, I feel like you
for
have
for me to ask that question. Clearly.
Yeah.
I mean,
with the older child too.
I mean, she was younger, but
okay.
We don't lock the door, man. We don't lock the door, and then
exactly.
A lot of times, you get up and you go close and lock it. But there's been a few times, Ferg, ain't no time to stop and get up and lock it. Let's now, right now.
Yeah, if it's not planned. You're not getting up to go. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
You're right. So, I'm thinking of our middays. I'm talking about.
So I'm not entirely sure what all she saw, but I know we had to have a talk with her because it was bad. There definitely was ass in the air. And I'm not sure what sounds was being made, but it was bad. And you think we'd learn our lesson, but now it's happened about twice. So,
at what age do you need to start locking the door? Because because today, you can't, the conversation you had when she was 5 ain't the same conversation you had when she's 13 now or 12?
Yeah, 13.
13, yeah.
Yeah, that you can't play it off. Y'all ain't wrestling.
I just remember at one point she was like, but why were y'all doing that? I felt so bad, dog. I felt so bad.
But did you start locking the door after that?
We still locked the door. We just think we're not going to get caught again, Ferg.
It won't happen again. It won't ever happen again.
Yeah.
Maybe she should learn to knock. How about that?
Like a bad convenience store robber. Like, yeah, I got caught 5 years ago, but that was then. I ain't gonna get caught again.
I done figured it out. Yeah. See, the problem was,
oh man,
we weren't facing the door. Yeah. So we face the door, we can see the doorknob move.
Right. Yeah.
You gonna try to trick yourself into it. And, yeah, bro. Tell us when it happened again, because at 13, at this point, she's gonna be disgusted.
Yeah.
So does Jasmine know that y'all have sex though?
She knows.
Okay, so
I believe she knows. Like, we've talked to her about that, especially when she was about right before she got her first, what women get. We had that talk with her. So we've talked to her about it.
It's a period. You can say it back.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, you never know these days.
You know what?
We gotta break the stigma.
You know what?
You gotta break the stigma, man.
You got to say it now, because you have trans women who don't have a period, and now you're saying because I forgot if it's a show or something like that. Somebody was talking about that, where they almost lost their job or something like that because they were talking about.
You think about what J.K. Rowling said, or
no? It was Harlem. You remember the professor was kind of similar situation. That professor that Megan Good's character was working for, that got when she got fired.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She was like, and she got in this whole conversation about what a woman is and all this stuff. And
it's so funny, dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though I don't like the show, but that was a good scene.
Oh, you don't like the show?
It's too much.
It is over the top. Like I don't. I watched a couple episodes and I'm like, Jason, you can keep watching. It's fine. I don't wait for me.
I'm good.
Oh man, but that's all I got, man. That's all I got.
But no, I would. That question's interesting because you guys don't lock the doors, so you're cool. Do you tell your kids, like, with a channel you do lock? So ours, we could have been caught God knows how many times, because they'll come knock, they'll try to open the door, because they lock it. Then they'll knock. What are y'all doing? Man, we take a lot of showers. Take a lot of showers. Took a shower today. It's your mama in the shower. I'm about to get in the shower too.
Oh man!
But being that, like, my kids are younger, I can kind of make that excuse. But when they're older, as like Jasmine's age, do you feel like it's the middle of the day or night and stuff like that? Do you feel like you have to tone down what you do, or you plan on changing your sexual habits because of you have older kids who might know that you're having sex?
You know what? I am conscious of, and this isn't something that I don't think I ever really did it in front of her, so I can't say that, once she got this age, I stopped. But I smack Tabitha on the ass a lot. Like a lot. Especially when we in the kitchen. But I have
you should.
But I have to consciously not do it when Jasmine is down.
Why?
It's not something I want to. I don't know. It just doesn't seem. It doesn't feel
showing a healthy sexual relationship in a loving relationship.
Well, I think we do that with hugs and kisses. We do that.
But you do that with her aunt or uncle. Yeah. So for me, I want my kids to see that mommy and daddy, like, still are in love. Like they get, like, Sky understands, and we've had this conversation before, the debate, who comes first, the spouse or the kids. Scott understands that, hey, your mama's first, and then there's you and your brother. She gets it. And she doesn't have a problem with it because she gets all the love she needs. But we want her to see that. Like, you love spending time with mom. Like, she gets it. And I want her to want that when she gets, when she starts dating or gets married or whatever the case may be on her own. And same with my son. But I think a lot of times people don't see, it's very rare. And I think, Razi, I feel like your parents flirted a lot to the point where I'm like, to the point where it's like, yeah, this is kind of uncomfortable, Dad. Like,
yeah,
I get it, but I get it that you get it.
right.
I get it that you get it. But, a lot of times I don't think people see their parents loving on each other. They know they love each other, but
I think we do a good job of that without me smacking on ass.
Yeah.
I'm team smack on that. That's all I got to say.
I am too, just not.
I think it's a lot of times you avoid that because of the whole, I want to teach consent, right? I want her to not, I don't want my daughter to think it's okay for a guy to smack her on the so you don't do that to your wife in front of her. So I think what has to happen though is you do have to couple, if you are going to do it, and that's what my dad did with us, like kind of piggybacking on what Ferg talked about, is when he talked about that, he would do that. He'd smack my mom on that. He'd do stuff like that, but he'd also have conversations with my sisters and have conversations with us about consent, and you can't do that to everybody and that type of thing. It literally was, this is my wife and she's cool with me doing that. This is how we flirt and we mess around with each other. So, but we also grew up knowing my parents had sex, and they talked about it, and they was like, y'all need to go, y'all going to your grandma's house because it's about to go down tonight. Like that, like they'd say stuff like that.
It's a lot of y'all.
Yeah, exactly. Like we knew where we came from.
Yeah, when y'all still having, 2 years later, like, God, when y'all gonna stop?
Exactly.
That was
damn it, y'all old. Oh man. All right, my bad, Byron. I hijacked your question.
No, that's good.
So I'm gonna kind of keep it light too. So I was on reading a post earlier this week, and it was basically saying, if we got notice that the world was going to end in 4 months, would you rather stay here and tough it out, or would you? That's option A, or B, get on a rocket ship headed to another planet to start a new life.
We're going on a trip on our favorite rocket ship. Yes, no, that's
but no.
Oh my God, no, Little Einsteins. God, the parents out there with young kids will understand. Ferg, I don't get it. I don't know how you don't know Little Einsteins. It's like one of the best kid song ever.
Because I don't watch Little Einsteins. I have kids that probably watch Little Einstein, but I don't have to.
Oh, yeah. Baby Shark's annoying.
Baby Shark. Yeah, that's it.
That's annoying.
But I mean, the conversations were pretty comical because what you said, Razi. You said you going on a ship.
Yeah, I'm going on the rocket ship, bro.
What you doing, Buff?
I'm gonna take my chances and get on that. Oh man, it's gonna be a tough ride though. But yeah, rocket ship.
Yeah. So that was my initial thought. But then it's like, last time we got on a ship, that didn't work out too well for us. We didn't know where we were going. Whose ship is it? Who all gonna be there?
We are not our ancestors, as they like to say. These days.
That's what they said too. Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds great until you get there.
You get that, and because what they'll do is they won't say we're all slaves. It'll be we all came, we're pilgrims or whatever, and now we need this society. Everybody has to help each other, so nobody gets paid. But at the same time, there's some caste systems and type thing where nobody's getting paid, but we need y'all to do all the manual type labor. I can see that happen. I definitely could, and it ain't happening for me
because we don't. Sounds good, and it's always, I ain't gonna deal with that until you deal with it. You have this I wish a nigga would mentality right now. It's always great until a nigga would. Yeah, we're sitting there like, you know what? Because I'm sitting like I'm there, and I'm like, you know what? Who's all gonna be there when it's because we ain't gonna have a lot of seats. First of all, so when this is the chance for us truly to be the minority.
Yeah, I've seen enough apocalypse movies that It's gonna be a lot of us sitting back watching that rocket take off, even if we say we were gonna be on it.
Yeah, if you choose to stay, that could be a real fun 4 months.
Oh yeah, I'm balling out for 4 months.
Yeah.
We ride in the streets.
But do you really think those 4 months are gonna be fun when everybody's like, the world's about to end. It's gonna be riots. Like you talk about riots, it's gonna be riots. It's gonna be the purge.
There's no need for riots. There's no need for riots. You had an option to leave, or you're gonna stay and thug it out.
Yeah, but the people that stay and thug it out are gonna be like, I want Razi's house to live for the next 4 months. I don't like my
on the
house.
ship, so he good. He good.
I'm probably gonna be in the ship, but I'm just saying.
I'm saying, you there? You on a ship, so what's the problem with him taking your house?
My cousins might want my house though. That didn't get on the ship.
Well, they should have thought about that before they didn't get on the ship.
Yeah, it's not an easy answer though. I mean, because
I just don't trust
starting from scratch on a new planet. I mean,
yeah,
that don't sound
being
fun.
on that rocket ship. Hell, you might not even make it to the new planet because it's gonna be some turmoil on that rocket ship.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. Have you seen?
We might not be the minority by the time we get to the new planet.
See, you're hoping when it's 1,000. Say 1,000 people a ship. About 37 black people. Good 37. For every 1,000 on the ship. They are not going to let us repopulate whatever planet we going to. You think this is their this is their one chance.
That's
to leave.
That's true.
To leave us behind. They've been trying to leave us. They've been wanting to send us back to Africa for years. This ain't chance. Unless you know somebody building a rocket ship right now.
Yeah, most of them look like penises though. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know how we got here, Razi. How did we get here?
He telling you how the rocket ships look.
That's what they look like.
So you going on a flying penis?
I mean, hey, if it gets me off of the apocalypse world, I'm on it.
That's the second time referring to penises, so.
Yes, if your penis rocket ship gets you off, then you're good.
Dark Knight Rises, bro.
Oh, I did. Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey.
Penis show. Yep. Yeah. What you got, Macarella Jr.?
So mine's probably gonna be a little bit more serious. I want to talk about HBCUs for a little bit. I don't know if y'all saw the news, but Coach Prime has done it again. He got another 4-star recruit. So
wide receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver. It's he really is changing the game. And I think, who was it? The kid who chose to go to HBCU last year that was like a 3 or 4 or 5-star recruit in basketball, I think.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about. He went to Howard. Yeah. I can't think of his name.
And so that was kind of the start, but I really think we're getting this critical mass. And I think we had this conversation a little bit then about, the changing dynamics, but football is a different animal because, how he was saying in basketball it's a little different because there's only 5 people on the court. You can make a huge difference. But now I'm starting to see where football players are starting to see and do that and want to go to HBCUs as well. So I just want you guys' thoughts. Byron's favorite, question is thoughts on this whole shift. And do you think it's going to catch on and continue? Do you think you're going to see more HBCUs that don't have as, big name coaches starting to get some of these 3 and 4-star, 5-star recruits as well?
That was the first thing I was wondering. Is this just a Deion Sanders shift, or is this a shift for all HBCUs? And I hope it's for all HBCUs. The number one thing I want to say though is, if this trend is heading that way, and more young men are gonna, trust the HBCUs with their athletic abilities and stuff. If that trend begins and it continues, I need the HBCUs to make sure that they invest in the facilities and everything that they need and invest in giving them the same type of facilities that you'll see in an Alabama or Florida State or one of the bigger colleges, because that's one of the number one things I've heard from athletes is that, on the recruit trips, it goes well, but you look at Alabama's weight room and all of their locker room and stuff with massage leather couches and stuff. And then you go to the HBCUs and it's not even half as good as that. So my number one request is that they invest in these athletes that decide to do this. And I think it's going to be a lot of wait and see. Like Deion has gotten some of these top recruits. And I think the ones that are on the fence or thinking about it, they're probably going to wait and see how it unfolds. And if it plays out well, then I think we definitely will see a trend not only at Jackson State, but at all HBCUs.
Well, this question hits close to home. First of all, the facilities will never be the same. Just point blank. I mean, the boosters, there's so much money out there coming from outside. But if you have the talent and you have good enough facilities, you will be noticed. I mean, if you get a 5-star recruit who has the talent, who has the resources as far as coaching and everything, benching 450 on a nicer bench than a 450 on a mediocre bench, to still 450. Leather massage chairs never wins a championship. It just makes you feel better.
You're talking about young kids, though, dog.
No, but I said, I get that. I get that. It's the appeal. It's the glitz and glamour that doesn't necessarily make you a good football player. If you get, for one, especially if I was not special teams, if I was a wide receiver or a cornerback or something like that, skill player, and I have a chance to be coached by Coach Prime or something like that, and you have a chance to make a difference, and because of the current trend, you're getting the attention that you might not get at Alabama, because right now, if you go to a 5-star recruit goes to Alabama, he's just another one of the 5-star recruits to go to Alabama. They're following this guy. He's going to get all the attention he needs. There should be more money invested. I get it 100%. They're going to get better facilities. I think that trend is they're looking at other places. It's similar to, that's one thing they can't compete with. They can't. I mean, there's other appeal to the, and I'm glad you brought that up, Byron, to HBCUs.
Well, let the listeners know. What did he bring up?
He brought up that the amount of black females that are there versus other schools.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, if I was a 5-star recruit and I had a chance to get a leather massage chair, or I go to FAM and see all these beautiful black women from all over the country and world, you know what? Maybe I can get a booster to put a massage chair in my dorm room or something. It's no place like FAM. It's no place like Howard. There's no place like Spelman. When you go on these campuses and you see the amount of women, and just not even just the women, the camaraderie, the network,
the inclusivity of it all. Like, yeah.
I think if we have to, what we can sell them on is the FAMU experience, the Jackson State experience, the Howard experience, the Grambling experience is bigger than football. Once you step off that field, this is your world. These are your friends. This is your family that you're going to meet. And it's going to take time. It's going to start at similar to D1 schools. All D1 schools aren't created equal. So you have your Power 5 conferences. So it's going to be some of those larger HBCUs that are going to get the attention, especially in the SWAC. So it's going to be Jackson State, it's going to be PV, it's going to be FAM, it's going to be schools like that, Southern, that are going to start getting the attention because they're starting to get even a bigger name coaches. And they're starting to get a lot of attention because, like, right now, LeBron has a whole line that's just for FAMU. Beyonce did a clothing line and it was shot at FAMU. And I'm pretty sure there's similar things going on at the HBCUs, but they're going to have to market and change the whole dynamics of what people are looking for. And now that they get paid to play, it's easy.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. Easier. I think that's a lot of how Prime got a couple of these. They got $1 million contract right off the rip because they're going to follow Jackson State next year and do kind of like that whole behind the scenes like they did with the Cowboys or whatever. So we're going to see them on TV all next year. And so a lot of the players, so they're going to get money. But I can tell you, I'm excited about it because I can kind of talk the whole trying to rise through divisions or whatever with UAB and kind of our experience of trying to get that extra facility and all of that stuff and that investment and all of that. And I do think that these recruits and all of the media coverage that they're getting based on that is going to get more investment, because that's exactly what happened with UAB. Nobody wanted to give UAB money until, you know, they cut our program, and then it was this huge outrage, and then everybody is giving money. We got new facilities, we got a new stadium, we got everything. So I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of those bigger HBCUs, like you said. I'm excited to see it. I just hope that what happens with the investment continues on instead of it being a flash in the pan. And that's what I'm really, really scared of. Like Byron talked about that whole wait and see. I'm really worried that they do one of two things. It's a flash in the pan and they forget about it. Or the other one is Jackson State moves out of the SWAC and moves into one of those bigger conferences or whatever. And so they start using that to kind of separate us and say, oh, well, Jackson State, you can go to the AAC, FAM, you can go to definitely not the SEC, but, another conference or something like that, to make sure that we don't have that combined SWAC where people start looking at the SWAC as a conference that is actually getting good media coverage, that starts to get some of the good ESPN stuff and get the packages where they can get that investment. So that's what I'm really, really worried about, is that them breaking up the SWAC, cherry picking those teams, pulling them into those bigger conferences with, just a promise of cash. And then we ended up back in the same boat where we have a few HBCUs that are in these bigger conferences, and then everybody else is kind of forgotten about.
Well, I don't see that happening, at least anytime soon. And if it does, it'll be after we accomplish some of those goals, and that is a strategic move to get the recognition. But the history and the pride behind especially the SWAC, coming from the MEAC and moving to the SWAC, it's a different feel, because the pride they have in their athletic programs, especially football, is not like any other HBCU conference. I'll give them that. FAM, like Howard School, Hampton schools that were in the MEAC, it was a different feel. The MEAC loved football, but it was still a different feel. We were more kind of focused on everything, but the SWAC, that when it comes to this football stuff, they're serious. Mm-hmm. My biggest fear is the other schools adapting to what's going on and trying to block, because you saw what was happening. Like they were hating, they were fuming, they are waiting. There's going to be all kind of investigations, moles. They are trying to see this fail, which is sad. Which it's polarizing to see, like, all these 5-star recruits that go to colleges all over the country, you lose one. And the news media says, damn, they lost to these niggas. And they never want that to happen again. I guarantee they are meeting right now to figure out how we never lose another 5-star recruit to them coon schools down there. They are fuming. I guarantee they called us everything under the sun. And they've called Dion everything under the sun. They just can't believe that they lost. And for that young man, it was bigger than just the massage chair. It was bigger than just the facility. It's like, I know what this school means. I know what the football program means to the school. And if I can help take that to another level, because that is the selling piece. Like, come with me, Razi. You could be a part of this movement. You could be part of the change that's coming, because it's going to come. And you could talk about the NFL players that if you have the talent, you're going to get noticed. It's just point blank. If you have the talent, you're going to get noticed. Especially now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
you know, you had your stray hands and people that came out of HBCUs just because they had the talent. But now with social media and this all eyes on Jackson State and HBCUs, if you're a dog, you're going to get noticed.
Yeah. And just, I mean, there's more media out there, right? I can get highlights. I can get on ESPN Plus or whatever. And so my games might be on net where I would have never got televised before. There's internet, you know, television and streaming and stuff. Shout out Inspire You on air. But, you know, you can listen to whatever, where and whenever. So I think little stuff like that is what is definitely changing the game. But we just got to be all in on it and make sure that we support, we go to these games and don't leave at halftime. That's the other part about it. And I think that actually is a good selling point, though, is I've looked at coverage of HBCU games and they show the halftime shows. They don't do that at PWIs. And so I think that's the other part about it is they're going to start seeing that, oh, it's kind of cool to show an HBCU game on some of these bigger networks. And so once they start seeing that and once they see that they don't lose people at the halftime, that's going to be helpful for them. And they're like, oh, yeah, I want some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's going to highlight them. It's going to have people research. And then if they research these HBCUs, because I talk to kids all the time, they're amazed with the amount of talent. Because it's not just about the football programs. It's going to bring attention to academics as well, where these guys are between, I would say, FAM, Florida, PV, and Alabama A&M. I think those are the top 3 schools with graduating Black engineers in the country. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about the academic portion and the academic excellence of these HBCUs, because for some reason people are telling you can't get a good, you can't get a good job from HBCUs. It's like a lower school. The education is not there. That's BS. When you start to see it, when you start to see that the vice president went to Howard University.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that what's the metric? 80% of Black professionals came from HBCUs or Blacks with terminal degrees. So Juris Doctorates, MDs, things like that came from an HBCU. That's huge.
Yeah, but
I think the other trend too is the coaches. Like I think these HBCUs will be like, they got prime. Okay, well, we need to go get our, former athlete that's real popular or whatever. So,
well, hell, T.O.'s still trying to go to.
He's trying to.
T.O.'s still trying to get on with it.
Yeah.
No. Chad Johnson, yeah. I think. Yeah, Chad Johnson's still trying to get. He trying whatever he can to get on with FAM. Like that dude ain't never stepped foot on FAMU campus. All of a sudden, he has every FAMU, and he be having some dope FAMU gear, bro. Like I'd be like, where you get that damn jersey from? And I don't wear jerseys like that. It's like, okay, where he get them kicks from? Like it's, like I said, LeBron's. It's going on. Like
it's definitely a movement.
Especially if our celebrities, we talked about them last week, start supporting this movement. When you start seeing these people go to HBCUs, you see LeBron at a FAMU homecoming. You see, these people not just like doing a concert, but they're going to, like, our homecoming this year was crazy. Did y'all saw the video? I sent y'all the video. Man, I mean, everybody was there. Kevin Hart's still he's one of the biggest celebrities in the Black community right now. He was at FAMU homecoming, chilling out. It's big. It's a movement. And I like the fact that you brought it up because I had this debate with somebody else. They were trying to call it a fad. I'm like, it's a movement. HBCU greatness has been there. It's just, it took the rest of the world to notice it. And now is our time to take advantage of it, since we have we have all eyes on us. We have the spotlight on us. We have to show you who we are. So like you were saying, to see the band, yeah, it's bigger than a band, but it's part of the culture.
Yep.
It's just part of the culture. We compete on the field. We compete in the stands. We compete at the halftime. Like it's there, But then also the camaraderie that comes with HBCUs. There's a whole network, So I can talk about HBCUs all day. I got my FAMU shirt on.
I love it. Oh, and hopefully, Melvin, you listen. I want to hear what Truth Be Told Sports has to say about this, because I think it is a movement. I think it is going to change college football in general. So Truth Be Told Sports, you guys go check it out if they talk about it.
Okay, we'll do. Let's make sure we have Julien follow up with that. Fellas, that's all we got.
Think so,
Yeah,
bro.
man. Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and close it on out. Who wants to lead us?
Only thing I got is Spiderman No Way Home should win an Oscar. I'm done.
Wow. Okay. That's all you got, huh? An Oscar. Wow.
They're trying to get best pick.
Yeah, I don't have anything, man. I'll just say this because I usually try to plan my final shots. I don't have any one this time, but whatever New Year's resolutions you guys made, I know people give you a hard time about making New Year's resolutions. We talked about it last week on the show. I see a lot of people making fun of New Year, New Me. Listen, if you made it, I hope you're sticking with it. And if you already have fell off, get back on it, man. Get back on it. It doesn't have to be January 1st for you to start. Keep at it. Keep pushing. Hardly anyone makes a linear progression. It's ups and downs, peaks and valleys with it. So whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're trying to be better at, struggling with, just keep pushing. Even if you fell back or whatever, you know what? You took that L. Now let's get back at it. So whether it's gym, eating right, whatever it is you're trying to do better at, keep doing it.
That's perfect, bro. It always makes me think of this theory or this kind of philosophy about getting 1% better, or just a little bit better every day, because you never know when that next small increase that changes everything. So they talk about water, at what temperature water freezes. That 1 degree above, water's still water. But once you hit that freezing point, it's just 1 degree change. That freezing point, now you're dealing with a whole different thing. So if you continue to grow and get better, it's that little that you're just on the cusp of greatness, of the cusp of changing from water to ice, and so. But with that being said, and speaking of FAMU, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my homegirls, Follow One, Beta Alpha, Hope Jones, my Miss FAMC, old school. We go back, but she had a post today, and it really just made me think, especially in the world we live in today. And it says, "The world won't always be kind, but make sure home is." And that just resonated with me because I just feel like, there's always challenges out there in the world. And we always have these debates about men and women and couples and what husbands should do and what wives should do. And we had a post about that kind of earlier. It was earlier this week, but it's screw all that. When you get home and when that person that that comes home to you or you come home to, the goal is just to try to be kind. We can't control what happens in the world, but we can control what happens in our house, even with our kids and everything. You don't know what your kids are dealing with. You don't know what your spouse or your significant other is dealing with in the world, or vice versa for them. But all we can do is try to control that small little, I can't say little for you guys with your big ass houses, but that small space that we have. Just control that. Keep your home kind. You can't control the world, but just make sure home is kind. So with that being said, before we leave, I want to give a shout out to one of our classmates, Johnny Wilson, aka John Wilson. He did a show on A&E today, Sell This House. When I say that brother represented, he did a great job. He knows his craft. It's just good to see somebody I grew up with accomplish such a great feat, and I know he's going to do extremely well. He's an interior designer, and great job, Johnny. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man. He's been designing since we made up the halftime show back in high school. We used to make out the halftime shows. Like we would make them. Yeah. You don't remember that?
All right. Okay. Well, but I just echo what Ferg said. Great job. I just from his pictures on social media, man, dude is a beast. So he definitely belongs on TV and he probably be designing for celebrities soon, man. That dude is a beast.
All righty. Three Brothers No Sense. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment. Most importantly, listen again.